Shout out to His Excellency. Shout out to Riyadh season.
Okay.
Shout out to Canelo Alvarez and shout out to Terence Crawford. I'm driving past today, getting here, and they got the signs up and everything. You know what I mean? They're promoting this thing, and it's awesome to see boxing on such a big platform, especially going across the street.
Why is there a bull with horns in the middle? What does that got to do with anything?
It's 2 rams, okay? It's 2 rams, and that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be, goddamn it. So stop looking at the.
Stop looking question I have.
Yeah, but you brought up an interesting perspective last night in terms of their sparring and elite. It's a lot of eliteness going on in both camps, as expected, you know. And go ahead.
I mean, it looks like they're getting excellent preparation from sparring. Like Terence being with Lester Martinez, he's about as good a concoction you could hope for as a sparring partner. I need a guy who can come forward with good timing, who's sharp, who got good power in both hands. Lester Martinez for Terence Crawford. If you're Canelo, I need a guy that can switch. I need a guy with length. I need a guy with power, with skill. He gets Darrell Valsaint, who's 6'1", 154. He switch hits, southpaw, mostly southpaw like Terence, but can switch. Good long. His arms are almost the exact same length as Terence Crawford. And he's a young 23-year-old good athlete. And then I don't know if Canelo's sparring with Marco Verde, who won the silver medal for Mexico, but Marco Verde would, again, 5'11", long arms, southpaw, can switch. I would think between Darrell Valsaint and Marco Verde, Canelo's getting awesome preparation. And then Terence with Lester Martinez. This is speculative, but someone did mention it to me on Twitter when I was talking about Canelo preparing with Valsaint. They go, well, Lester Martinez had to go home with migraines and pull out of a fight, and he was sparring with Terence Crawford. So, I mean, it's speculative, but you're like, well, if you put 2 and 2 together, if he was getting migraines for sparring Terence Crawford and had to pull out of a fight because of it, then that must mean Terence Crawford is doing well in the gym. One question, though, for Crawford I have for you guys. What do you guys think of his body 6 weeks out? Does he look blown up or does he look strong?
When we seen him, he looked very, very weak and not ready for the fight.
Okay, gotcha.
I
got you, Terence.
I like that. You know, he's all in the, you know, the whole snack conversation and stuff like that. I don't know if you've been looking at the stuff I've been sending to you, but me and Victor have been speaking a little bit, and he's been sending me stuff. He's just
so you gotta go quick.
No, I have receipts. So anything I said was a statement of fact.
I just feel like he just be laying there like, you know, let me get Sean right, like, you know. It's factual information, you know. But just to keep it to the conversation here right now, I know that a lot of people feel like, you know, Bud got big overnight. I did hear something interesting. Remember I told you guys, man, he's been preparing for this fight for a long time. Moving up to 54, he knew that he was going to 168 and stuff like that. Interesting thing that I just was told is that this is a fight that it didn't come up until after he fought Arrow, but some time it took time. I thought that he was fighting Arrow, getting ready for Canelo, and it took time. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, what happened was he still wasn't getting the love that he thought he deserved and was gonna receive, and he's like, all right, then I'm gonna go get Canelo Alvarez. You know,
he said Bill Haney actually gave him the idea.
Yeah,
shout out to Bill. Yeah. So when we talk about the size, I just need everybody to understand that that's how we look when we walk around before we have to cut down to 147 pounds. So that's always been
weight,
yeah, it's always been.
How you do it, Sean?
I don't know. I was eating the air. That's how he always looks. You know what I mean? He's a big guy, big kid, right? So now he's basically transitioning his body, packing on the mass, hitting the weights and things like that. And interesting thing is that's always a no-no in boxing. Has, you know, historically been
Emmanuel hated it.
A no-no. We don't hit weights. You know, we stand away from anything that, you know, push-ups. That's it. You know,
never look like Anthony Joshua.
Chin-ups. That's it. You know, and he's doing all this because he knows that one thing that everybody gonna talk about, him getting punched on the arms. You know, he's gonna have to absorb the kind of impact, and he's smart. He's doing it all right. I love the way the body looks right now because I do understand that he's still got room.
6 weeks.
He's still got room. Right. You know, be different if
this was fight week.
Yeah.
Right.
Shawn Porter, how less does that make Kent when you ain't really got to focus on diet too much? Can he just train and come in at 168?
The interesting thing, some fighters, I don't know about all fighters, definitely me, I'm on a scale 4 or 5 times a day.
When you was fighting?
Yeah. And there were days, depending on what we were doing in the day, would depend on what I eat. To me, in my mind, at least, and me knowing him, he just put the nutrition in front of me, and I'll take the nutrition. I don't have to worry about nutrition, but while I'm eating, how much am I putting on? You know what I mean? So it's going to take a weight off of his mind that would otherwise be there. So that's a good sign for Crawford.
Okay.
I think, when you talk about him absorbing the blows, it does remind me of Shaq. Like, Shaq he wrote in his book, like, Pat Riley always wanted his body fat down at a certain part, and he'd have to explain to Pat, like, Phil let me be a little heavy because I need to absorb those blows in the paint. Like, this 6-pack may look good, Pat, but it hurts more when I'm banging in the paint. So Shaq would explain he did good with a little flesh on him to take the blows. Mm-hmm. But that being said, I don't know if I love the look from Crawford. Remember, the term in boxing is a blown up such and such. It looks like a blown up lightweight.
Sure.
He looks a little bit like a blown up welterweight.
But also, keep in mind. I hear what you're saying.
It just looks a little blown up.
And I hear what you're saying.
I'll because there's an image I can't get out of my head probably in that same gym, or no, that might be in Colorado, but it might be in the UFC Institute, or anyway, whatever the gym. He trains at the UFC Institute. He was training there for Spence. We had our media day, and great fighters for their biggest fights, they get this big fight cut to them. Like the 6-pack's an 8-pack for those select few assignments. Mm-hmm. And Terence, man, he was so jacked he was listening to Tupac. He had like the Machiavelli album on, and I was looking at media members like, it's over. Like, he's about to cook Errol Spence.
Why didn't you tell me?
I did. I did. So,
I believe it.
I lost all my money.
I said counterpunching, right? I was like counterpunching. And Spence is just going to give him counterpunching. Like, it's a good style matchup for him, and he's getting Spence at a good time. Anyway, he was dripping so much sweat, you could see his 8-pack through his shirt. And that, I was like, this dude's always in shape, but he's really in shape, cut like a bag of dope, whatever you want to, all those terms to use it.
That's what they say.
Yeah, that's what they say in the street, Sean. But
don't show up next week.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was the jump the shark.
We both got suspended today.
We'll be at Herbrex Arena.
So I know
shit isn't allowed there. I'm just playing.
So ultimately, I suspect he probably is training a little harder than Canelo. Canelo trains hard, but that's not his rep. That he's a super, 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 super hard worker. I know he does the ice baths in Tahoe, and he does his thing. I mean, he doesn't look like that for no reason. I suspect Crawford's training a little harder, but at the same time, I don't know. He looks a little bit like a blown up welterweight.
He's supposed to look like a blown up heavy.
That's what he is.
No, he's not. Damn it! But in your mind, you know him at welterweight. You saw his best night at welterweight. You saw it was a competitive fight that he had against Madrimov. It was a competitive night. But you see his best night at 147. I think. Tell me if I'm wrong. I want to put things in your mind, but. Do you look at him like you're at your best? You are a welterweight, or do you look at him as at your best you are a super welterweight? At your best you're a middleweight.
Well, going back and watching the Madrimov fight, gotta give you props. You were right. He was more in control because people at first thought Sean was being biased to Terence, and when going back and watching it off his jab, he was in pretty good control of the fight, even though it was competitive throughout. But what was troubling about the Madrimov fight at 54. Is Madrimov was backing him up most of the fight. He was on the front foot. And then in Madrimov's next fight against Virgil, he's running laps for 9 rounds.
Yeah.
You could look at that as an indictment on Terrence's pop at 54. Because Madrimov he's coming at you, and he's not always an aggressive fighter. He's coming at you for a large part of the fight. Then he fights Virgil, who's not hitting like Canelo. But if we're to judge Madrimov's reactions, he's hitting harder than Bud. Because he's running laps for 9 rounds. And against Bud, he's applying pressure.
That fight with Bud, he was he was in range against Bud, but he was never in range to fight. He was always trying to control the range, what dictated he.
Did he have too much respect for Bud?
Yeah, I think it was too much respect for Bud.
And the jab was.
But I just gotta correct me if I'm wrong, right? So basically, to your point, he is pursuing Bud, but he's only pursuing Bud and then stepping right out of range. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm pursuing you and I'm coming after you.
Like Oscar Duarte.
So we didn't get that from Madrimov. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that Virgil Ortiz super welterweight punch is, especially heavy.
Get Madrimov on and ask him.
Yeah.
Can you tell us who punches harder?
Honestly, even including you, Sean, no one actually attacks Bud like that.
Yeah.
No one actually goes after you. See what happens when you go after. You get counterpunched to death. That's always been that's what people game plan versus him.
That's why if you are a Crawford camp, you gotta like this fight because you know that you definitely have somebody who's gonna fight in your rhythm, in the flow that your current runs in. His current is I'm out, I'm in. You know what I mean? He likes somebody coming after him. This is what he's done his whole life. He's had to turn it on to go after guys, including me, goddamn. I'm like, what the hell? You know what I mean? So, this fight in a lot of ways early on could be a very interesting fight because it's one that works in the rhythm of both guys because this is what Canelo does and what he likes to do. And I'm okay if I'm only getting elbows and I'm okay if I'm swinging and I'm missing because I'm going to catch up to you eventually, Bud is not going to move so far out of the way that he can't do it, Also, I'm going to say, I don't want to say more because I think I know a little bit more about,
Chill out.
Yeah.
We're trying to win this fucking fight.
Antt said he looked like shit.
Seeing Terence Crawford, man, was at camp, looks like shit. So